In case our viewers didn't know, Siobhan and I both work for NBC Sports, so if that isn't a good enough qualification to host this show, I really don't know what is. Siobhan is out in the professional world tonight, but don't worry, me and Megan have got this covered. Hello, I'm Libby Gilliland.
And I'm Meghan Cooney. NBC Sports must love seeing me on SportsLine, so really I must attribute all my fame to them. You're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. Explorer sports were in full swing this week. We have game recaps and upcoming games coming your way.
And later, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Basketball's Josh Nickelberry sits down with SportsLine to talk about the season as it comes to an end.
But first, let's take a look at our SportsLine top 3.
Number 1. Swimming and diving saw Explorers earn 2 medals at the Atlantic 10 Championships. As the tournaments came to an end on Saturday, freshman Felix Jedbrat earned a bronze medal in the 200-yard freestyle, while Zach Walbert also earned a bronze in the 200-yard butterfly.
Number 2. Former LaSalle women's basketball player Linda Hester was named an Atlantic 10 Trailblazer as part of the conference's year-long celebration of the 50th anniversary of Title IX. Hester's career with the Explorers spanned from 1982 to 1986, and she currently sits 5th on the women's basketball all-time scoring list.
Number 3. Felix Jedbrat was awarded NovaCare Student Athlete of the Week this week after his standout performance at the A10 Championships. This is his second Student Athlete of the Week award this year.
Incredible performance by Felix Jedbrat, a freshman, and the whole swim and dive team in their Atlantic 10 championship this past week. Really a great performance all around. A lot of talented teams in their conference, so great to see that 2 medalists from LaSalle got awards, and you know, Felix Jedbrat, I mean, you can't say enough about him.
Absolutely, this kid's all over the place, and it's just absolutely amazing. 2-time NovaCare Student Athlete of the Week, and like you mentioned, a freshman, which is just absolutely phenomenal. We have a lot of freshman talent in many of the teams this year, so it's just absolutely fantastic to see that.
Yeah, definitely not an easy thing to get 2 NovaCare Student Athlete of the Week awards in the same season, but he has a bright future ahead of him. So that is it for our top 3. Now let's take a look at how our teams did in this week's recaps. Women's basketball was back with 2 games this week, heading into the end of regular season play. Their first matchup was Sunday at St. Louis. Charity Shears and Kayla Spurl started the scoring early for the Explorers, hitting 3 huge shots to help put LaSalle up 19-12 at the end of the first quarter. In the second, the Billikens would come back to tie the game, but another Kayla Spurl 3 gave the Explorers a 33-30 advantage. St. Louis would tack on 1 more point before halftime and would enter the locker room down 33-31. Early scoring by Molly Massantonio in the third gave LaSalle a 6-point lead, but St. Louis would take control of the game and ended the third quarter up 52-46. Both teams went back and forth in the last period of play. A Massantonio 3 would put LaSalle up 59-54 with 6 minutes left. Unfortunately, it was all St. Louis from that point on, and the Billikens would end the game with a 74-63 victory. It was then on to Dayton, where the Explorers would face a struggling Flyers team. After starting the game down 5-0, Kayla Spurl would hit a 3-pointer to put LaSalle on the board. The Explorers would struggle at both ends of the floor and ended the quarter down 24-12. In the second quarter, Spurl, Claire Jacobs, and Charity Shears would all make important baskets to put LaSalle only down by 8 heading into halftime, with the score being 30-22. While both Claire Jacobs and Mia Jacobs would continue the Explorers' scoring effort in the second half, it would not be enough to start a comeback, and Dayton would end up winning 65-51. The loss put LaSalle's record at 16-13 overall and 7-7 in conference play.
Men's basketball took on George Mason on Saturday in the hopes of continuing their 5-game win streak. Hassan Drame hit 2 quick 3-pointers to start off the game strong, but the Explorers couldn't keep the lead, with George Mason leading 16-8 with 13:19 left in the half. The Explorers were here to play, however, with Khalil Brantley scoring 5 and Josh Nickelberry hitting a triple to tie up the game with 10:54 left. Both teams put up a good fight in the remaining minutes of the half, with the Patriots ultimately coming out on top with a lead of 33-30. Jameer Brickus gave the Explorers the lead in the second half with a 7-0 run. In the next 8 minutes, the Patriots managed to trim the Explorers' lead, however. Khalil Brantley came in with a timely jumper to put the Explorers ahead 54-51 with 6:16 remaining. The Patriots went on a run of their own, taking the lead with a score of 58-54. The Explorers weren't giving up, finding themselves with a tie game thanks to the help of Brickus and Brantley with 2:28 left. George Mason would then go on a 5-0 run to take the lead, 65-60. Brickus and Brantley would make last-ditch efforts to narrow the lead 65-63, but it was to no avail. The Explorers came up short with a final score of 70-66. They then moved on to take on Duquesne on Wednesday. The Dukes got off to a quick start of a 10-2 run, with the only LaSalle points coming from Fusani Drame basket. Josh Nickelberry then came off the bench and hit 2 3-pointers to help the Explorers go on an 11-3 run and cut the deficit to 3. The two teams went back and forth in the last 4 minutes and 26 seconds of the half, which concluded with Duquesne up by 3, 41-38. Although Nickelberry would hit 2 more threes and finish the game with a career-high 28 points, the Dukes would finish the game on a 40-23 run and win the game 91-74. The loss now puts the Explorers' record at 13-15 and 7-8 in conference play.
The swimming and diving season came to an end this weekend, with LaSalle finishing out the last 2 days of the Atlantic 10 Championships. For the men, Felix Jedbrat earned a bronze medal in the 200-yard freestyle, finishing with a program record time of 1 minute and 39.19 seconds. Zach Wolbert competed in the 100 and 200-yard butterfly events, finishing with a bronze medal in the 200-yard with a time of 1 minute and 45.51 seconds. Tarek Gushek finished in 5th place in the 200-yard backstroke, finishing with a time of 1 minute and 46.12 seconds. On the women's side, the 400-yard medley relay team of Rosella Martin Martinez, Carlota Ungo, Tori Fenn, and Tony Rafferty broke a LaSalle record in their event. The group swam a time of 3 minutes and 45.59 seconds, breaking a decade-old program record.
Over the weekend, LaSalle's water polo team competed in the Mercyhurst Invitational. They first took on Penn State Behrend to open the tournament. The Explorers started out the match strong, with Francesca Coe scoring 4 goals and the Explorers totaling 10 at the end of the first quarter. The Explorers would add another 10 goals in the second and would go into halftime with a commanding 20-3 lead. The scoring for LaSalle would slow down in the second half, but they would allow just 3 goals in the second half to conclude their dominant victory. In total, 12 players scored goals for the Explorers, with 8 players scoring multiple goals in their 26-6 win. LaSalle would open Saturday against Gannon. Again, the offense started out strong, with LaSalle scoring 8 goals to start the game and letting Gannon score just twice. The high-powered offense added 5 more goals in the second quarter for the Explorers, and they would go into the halftime up 13-3. Thanks to 5 goals from Coe and 4 goals from Casey Malone, as well as 4 steals from both Claire Durham and Tatum Lomax, the Explorers would finish the match with a 15-4 win.
Water polo continued the Mercyhurst Invitational with a matchup against Mercyhurst. LaSalle got out to yet another dominant start, scoring 6 goals in the first period and allowing Mercyhurst to score just 3 goals. The second period led to 6 more Explorer goals, giving LaSalle a 12-4 lead heading into half. An additional 9 goals in the second half led to an easy 21-6 Explorer victory. Shayna Zuanich and Madeline Corper scored 5 goals apiece, and Francesca Coe helped on the defensive side, racking in 5 steals and 3 drawn exclusions. They closed out the Invitational on Saturday against Bucknell. 5 goals in the first 8 minutes kept the quick start streak alive for LaSalle. The Bison scored 4 of their own goals to keep the game at bay. A last-second goal by Francesca Coe gave the Explorers a 9-6 lead heading into halftime. Bucknell started the second half with a 2-0 run and held the Explorers until the 3-minute mark, where LaSalle would score 3 more goals to take an 11-9 lead. LaSalle was able to hold off the Bison and take a 13-11 victory. Coe led the team with 6 goals, and Zuanich was close behind with 3. Casey Malone brought in 2 assists and 2 steals, and Magurasic recorded 7 saves in net and 2 steals. With this win, water polo swept the event and holds a 6-game win streak.
The lacrosse season is heating up as they faced 2 tough opponents this week, beginning with UPenn. The Quakers started the scoring early. Freshman Grace Lord was able to complete 3 draw controls with Alana Lathan had 2 shots on goal. A goal from Ellen Stickney in the 4th quarter wasn't enough to hold off UPenn. Next was a contest against Villanova. The Wildcats jumped to a 4-0 lead early in the game. Mackenzie Click scored the first Explorer goal of the game. Nova went on to score 2 more goals before Alana Lathan scored her 3rd goal of the season. Katie Johnson, Maddie Henderson, Click, and Sarah Grassi all scored goals to give the Explorers 7 total points. Unfortunately, Nova outscored them 16-7.
A lot of Explorer sports this week, and I have to start this out by giving some props to the water polo team. 6 wins in a row. I mean, hats off. They're killing it. Super, super proud of them. But moving on a little bit to basketball, we talk about it every week, and you're actually going to hear from Mr. Three-Pointer Josh Nickelberry later today in our interview. But he had an incredible game last night. 28 points, career high. He came off the bench firing. I mean, 3-pointer after 3-pointer, the crowd was going crazy. But they ended up not getting the win, which was really disappointing after the great streak that they had going. They've lost the last 2 games. The team was a little down after that, but you'll hear it from Josh later. They're just going to get back up and keep going, and they have so much potential on this team heading into the last few games of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, we always love talking about Mr. Three-Pointer Josh Nickelberry, but I really do think that they have been stepping it up recently. The two games they recently lost shouldn't be any reason to get them down. They were on an amazing win streak. They're breaking records. Josh tied his career high point 28, like you said, in the game last night, and he's just doing an absolutely phenomenal job. And Brickus and Brantley, they're like our little dynamic duo. They come in at the end. They try to make so many last-ditch efforts, and I really can just see this team coming together in a way that's just powerful. And I think that, like you said, 2 games shouldn't really get them down. They're on a fantastic winning streak, and I think they have a lot more potential for the rest.
Absolutely. I mean, last night it was just not capitalizing on possessions, a lot of turnovers. So I think, you know, they watched film today. If they can go back and fix their mistakes going into the rest of the season, a ton of potential left for them. Moving on to women's basketball, disappointing week for them. 2 losses and 1 to Dayton, who has been struggling lately. Not great for them, but again, you know, I've talked about her all the time. Kayla Spurl has stepped up in the past couple games. She's playing incredible, and hats off to her for just staying in it, because it's not an easy thing to do, and hopefully heading into the rest of the season, they'll get some momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Kayla Spurl, like we mentioned, she's just absolutely outperforming, and it's beautiful. She's had double-digits performances in the past 4 games consecutively, and just 17 games overall she has scored double digits, which is absolutely phenomenal.
We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to hear from Mr. Three-Pointer himself, Josh Nickelberry. Stay tuned.
Oh, hey LaSalle TV. Welcome to the LaSalle TV studio. Let's go take a tour. All right, so this is our main studio. This is where all the magic happens. We got all 5 cameras right here. We got our camera operators. Hey, can you switch to camera 3, please?
Switch it off to camera 3 right now. Good.
This is where our talent sits for Sports Talk and SportsLine. That's our set for it. All right, so now let's go take a tour of the control room. That's where all the magic happens behind the scenes. So this right here, we have video. We have graphics right over here. This is the technical director. They control all the cameras.
2, 1,
Right here, we have the director. Right over here, we have audio. Over here, we have the teleprompter. All right, well, that's all for the tour of the LaSalle TV studio. Thanks for coming by. See ya.
Extinction is forever. To save America's most iconic and imperiled species from extinction, we must fight for their future. Fight to save the natural lands that wildlife call home. Fight to limit pollution. Fight for smart development. Fight for their future and fight for ours. For so goes nature, so goes us.
Those were the days. We cruised down drags with our favorite bands. And every night we had standing dates with the same friends. We hustled, we bumped, we bus stopped, and we smoked all the time. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now. Visit screenyourlungs.org today.
Welcome back. For the first time in a long time, SportsLine welcomes a basketball player to the desk. Here's Josh Nickelberry to talk about his season. Josh, thank you so much for being here. We are thrilled to finally have a basketball player on the show, so we appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so it's the heat of the season. Again, thanks for being here because I know just how busy you all are. But starting with how you got to LaSalle, you transferred from U of L, huge basketball school. I'm from Louisville. I understand how much they love that team.
Yeah, for sure.
So leaving from there and coming here, what was the transfer like, and why did you choose LaSalle?
Transfer process was very hectic. Just going through that recruiting process again, listening to all these coaches tell you a lot of the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? So. Really, I just ended up here. I have a family member, Kevin Nickelberry. He coaches at Georgetown, and he was friends with Ashley Howard. So basically, when I was in the portal, I was hearing a lot of the same stuff, like I said. So I just wanted to be comfortable, you know. Yeah. So having a little family connection helped me be more comfortable. So that's why I decided to come here. Yeah,
absolutely. It makes a lot of sense, and we are thrilled to have you. When you came in, you made an immediate impact. We figured out, okay, this guy can shoot threes.
For sure.
How did you fit in with the team your first year? What was that experience like?
I think I fit in great. I knew a few of the guys, Sharif Cooper and Anwar Gill. They were from the DC area, so I knew them growing up playing AAU and stuff. So coming in, they just kind of showed me the ropes of what it's like here, and then I just played my game. Really, just played my game, see how I fit in within the system, and it ended up working out for me.
Awesome. And your first year, Ashley Howard was there. You said you had a connection with him. This year, Fran Dunphy came in. How did you react to that news, and what has the team been like since he took over?
Firstly, when I first heard, I was very excited because I didn't really know. I knew who he was. I just didn't know a lot about him. So once I looked up his history, I was like, man, I'm about to play for a legend. So it was very exciting for me. He stepped in and changed the culture immediately. A lot of the stuff we didn't really take serious last year, we're taking it serious this year. As far as school, timing, time management, things like that. So it's just a lot of the small things off the court that's really helping us on the court. And then on the court, he just does a great job of disciplining us the correct way. Like, he knows how to get what he wants out of his guys. Like, he yells when he needs to. He doesn't yell at all sometimes. He gives you good criticism, and we accept it. We all respect him so much. So it really just helps us out, man. We really learn how to play for each other and love playing for each other. So he's really helping out a lot with that stuff.
Awesome. We've seen it on the court. Absolutely. You all are playing great this year. And talking about kind of team camaraderie and how you all are working together, who are the leaders on this team right now, and what has the overall culture been like?
Yeah, a lot of our leadership comes from our older guys. So personally, I'm a captain of the team. Me, and then the two twins, Fusini and Hassan, and then Mamadou. Like, we're all older guys. Fusini and Hassan played at St. Peter's last year. They made it to the Elite Eight, I believe. So they have a lot of experience. Yeah. That's further than I've ever played, same as Mamadou. So just their experience playing against those high major teams throughout the long season. So they're just bringing a lot of knowledge. So we all just found ways to knowledge our guys, just give as much knowledge as we can. So really a lot of our leadership comes from our older guys. For sure.
And what has your message kind of been to the younger guys on the team? There's been a lot of people who have stepped up this year. What have the message from Coach Dunphy and from the leaders on the team kind of done?
Really, just be ready when your number's called. We have a very dangerous team. We have a lot of weapons this year. So once one guy isn't having a good night, like you just said, somebody's stepping up. So we've learned that from Coach Dunphy. He always tells us, be ready when your number's called, because you never know. Like, I may play 20 minutes one night, may play 8 minutes one night, may play 30 minutes one night. Like, you never know, but you always got to be prepared. So that's just something we always try to tell our guys, especially our younger guys that don't really have a lot of experience. So they don't really know how to handle, like, playing a lot, then not playing, and playing a lot. So I'm just telling them, just stay positive, stay focused, and know it's not always about you. It's about the team at the end of the day. So just play your role and always be ready.
Yeah, that's a great message for them. And the second half of the season, you talked about you never really know how much you're going to play on a given night. You started off starting, and then coming off the bench now in the second half of the season. How has that role change been for you?
I mean, I'm just doing what I'm told, doing what I need to do. Like I said, I have full trust in what Coach Dunphy wants to do. So that's whether me starting or whether me not starting, like, it doesn't really matter to me. Like, I'm just worried about winning games. And this is my senior year, so I want to win as many games as possible. So if I got to come off the bench to help my team win, then that's what it's going to be. Like, I don't really trip about it. I don't look too far into it. Like, I love all my teammates, so just got to step up. I'll be one of those guys stepping up when my number's called.
Absolutely, and you had an incredible game last night. The crowd just loves you when you start hitting all your threes. So in that game against UMass a couple weeks ago, I was in the crowd. Your family was there. It was awesome. And you're not from here, so what is that like when your family shows up? You had 7 threes for 21 points. You really showed out for them. What was that game like for you?
Really, you talk about my mother. It means the world to me when she's there. She has a shirt with my face on it and my name on the back. So it just means the world to me, man. Just her coming to see me play and being able to perform and make her proud. So that's really what it's all about, making my parents proud. They sacrifice a ton for me. Like, she drives up 3 hours and drives right back 3 hours after the game. So for her to come up and just show that support, man, it means the world to me. So I appreciate her every time she comes up. Same with my father, same with my sister.
Yeah, she was thrilled to see you play. I could tell.
She definitely gets active in the crowd. She gets active.
I loved it. So you all just ended a 5-game win streak. It was a great run for you all. Tough games in there, and you've been traveling a ton. I can't even imagine how that's worn down on you all. What was the message during that 5-game win streak, and did it help your confidence heading into the rest of the season? Yeah,
really, we just worried about staying together and staying focused. We haven't had a win streak like that, so we had to learn how to win. Like, during those games, like, sometimes we'll win, like early in the season we'll win a game and then we'll be satisfied. Like, we wouldn't show it a lot, but I can just tell the vibe of the team, like, we're satisfied, we just won a game. Like, nah, you gotta win a game and move on to the next one. So during that streak, we just had to learn how to win games and keep stacking on. So every time we came in for practice after a win, we're just laser focused, worried about the next game and how we can get better from mistakes in the game that we just won.
Yeah, and last night you had an incredible game but didn't come out with the win. What was the message in a game that you don't win?
We watched film. We watched the whole game. We watched film for like an hour. So really, it's the same thing. Learn from our mistakes. The way Coach Dunphy is, like, every time we win or lose a game, it's always something you can learn from it. And I think he does a great job showing us how we can get better after each and every game. And he does a good job of switching our focus to the next game. So he shows us what we can do better. He gives us our criticism, and we take it in, and then we focus and lock in on the next game.
And talking about kind of the end of the season, what is the state of the team you think right now? How are you feeling heading into postseason play? And of course, senior night is going to be a big one. How are you feeling?
Hungry, focused, ready to go. That's really how I'm feeling. It's the last little stretch for this year, so we're just really trying to seed as much. We're trying to seed as high as we can for the tournament. So right now we're like in the middle of the pack. So we're trying to figure out how we can get that separation. So when we get to tournament time, we'll play less games and have a better chance of winning. But however it goes, whether we got to play a lot of games or just a few, we're ready to go. We're focused, for sure.
Awesome. And looking ahead to next year, just looking at the team as a whole, you know who's returning. What are your hopes for the team next year?
Just to build off of this year. We built off of last year. The guys that returned, like, we're having a better season so far already. So it's really just about building, just continuing to build. This summer will be big for our younger guys, getting in the gym, getting a lot better. So really just building and coming back ready to go, win even more games. That's really what it is.
Well, we love hyping you up here on SportsLine, and you all are playing great. So keep it up. Good luck in the postseason play. Thank you again for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to take one last quick break, but when we come back, we have all of this week's upcoming games for you. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. We've got another week of LaSalle sports coming up, so here's what you have to look forward to. Men's basketball will take on George Washington on Saturday the 25th and Dayton on Tuesday the 28th. Women's basketball will face VCU on their senior day, Saturday the 25th, and will begin their A10 tournament on March 1st with an opponent to be determined.
Track and field will compete in the A10 Indoor Track and Field Games Championships Saturday the 25th and Sunday the 26th. Water polo will be back in action for the Princeton Invitational with matchups against Iona, Chapman, and Princeton from the 24th through the 26th. Finally, lacrosse will take on Lehigh on Wednesday, March 1st.
Certainly excited to see the end of the season, regular season for the women's basketball team and heading into A10 play. Interested to see who they're going to play, and of course for the men to see if they can keep up their good performance heading into the end of the season. Yeah. And that just wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorer Report, be sure to tune in for next week's coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com.
Also, check us out on Facebook and facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Instagram at SportsLine LTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions there.
For our entire SportsLine team, I'm Libby Gilliland.
And I'm Meghan Cooney. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the game.